back to my Flash episode review. Tonight is the night, part one of the two-part Arrow and Flash crossover yet again. So here's my review of Legends of Today. This is an episode, once again, just like last year, I have been dying to see. Especially because not only is it just like the crossover between the two shows, but they're setting up Legends of Tomorrow. And pretty much this episode centered around Hawkgirl. But this episode was so jam-packed, full of shit. It was honestly the most jam-packed episode of any of these shows that I've ever seen. God, I don't even know where to begin. I guess I'll go back to the beginning of the episode. Seeing Cisco and Kendra on their date, and when Kendra had her food there, I thought that was kind of cute. I did like the idea of them as a couple, but obviously by the end of the episode we know that it's not going to work out. I mean, I had a feeling that they weren't going to work out since, Kendra's going to Legends of Tomorrow and Cisco's staying on Flash. But yeah, so I did like their little date though. And when Oliver finally came in, or when Barry goes to Central City and Oliver and them are fighting Damien Dark, and then Oliver uses his magnetic arrow. It's like, okay, this is the Oliver Queen. This is the green arrow that I've been wanting to see. Like, he has all of these cool trick arrows that aren't just the regular stabby arrows. That's like, I really geeked out on that sort of thing. I mean, yeah, it's not like the boxing glove arrow, but it's still cool nonetheless. The action in this episode just kick ass, especially the beginning fight scene when Diggle, Thea, and Oliver were all fighting the Damien Dark's guys. That was really cool. And then when they finally get back to the Arrow Cave, or the new Arrow Cave, and Cisco's like making his little nitpicky comments about the copper wiring, and Felicity and everyone's getting kind of butthurt about it. I thought that was really funny. And then when they go back to Oliver's place, and they're all drinking, and Thea makes a comment about keeping her name Thea, or keeping her name Speedy, and Cisco's trying to suggest a better name. But this is kind of a bit of a negative, but in the show, as far as I know, Thea has never liked the name Speedy. And then all of a sudden in this episode, she's like, oh, I like Speedy. It's like, okay, the premiere of the season, she wanted to be called Red Arrow, and she made a little hissy fit about it, like mid-fighting. And season 1, she said that she hated it, didn't like being called that, and throughout the show, she said several times, she doesn't like being called Speedy. And then all of a sudden, she's like, oh, I like it now. It's like, okay, that was a little out of character. But that aside, Jay Garrick finally coming back. Where the hell has this dude been? Did he buy an apartment? We don't know. They don't care enough to tell us. That's been a big gripe of mine these last few episodes of The Flash, because I've wanted to know what happened to Jay Garrick, and I want to see him use his speed. And we got to see a tiny little bit of that in this episode. So hopefully, by him being back in this episode, he'll be back for more. Hopefully he'll get his speed back at some point, because I want to see Barry and Jay and Wally West when he comes down. I want them all to fight Zoom. Like, I want that so badly. So seeing him back was nice. And going back to Star City, Barry standing up to Malcolm Merlyn when he shows up, and the fact that first of all, Malcolm Merlyn shows up with like 6 assassins out of nowhere. It's like, dude, you don't really need that many assassins if you're just here to say, oh, this is Vandal Savage. Like, that's all he did. The assassins literally just stood around and did nothing. That's all they did. And when Hawkman shows up, and then Barry uses his lightning to stop him, Hawkman, I gotta say, looks really badass. With the pictures, it's hard to tell how something's gonna look portrayed in live action. So when the pictures of Hawkman and Hawkgirl came out, I was like, okay, they don't look bad. I mean, a lot of people had problems when Smallville did their version of Hawkman and he had the chest plate thing. I didn't have a problem with that. My only problem was the cheap wings that they used in the episode. Like in this episode, probably because these shows have a higher budget than Smallville ever did. But the wings look really great. They look realistic. I mean, they're not like angelic wings, but they look they look real for a TV budget. They look real. And I gotta say, his suit looks pretty badass. I mean, yeah, he doesn't have the big Hawk logo here in the center, but I mean, I understand why. It wouldn't make a whole lot of sense, but I agree with it. But yeah, going back to Jay saving Dr. Wells, he got a bit of his speed back. I did like that a lot. I like how in the show they're finally introducing us to Vandal Savage. It's funny because they keep talking about how they're gonna stop him, and it's like, dude, we all know that's the big bad of Legends of Tomorrow. like we all, I mean, obviously it's setting him up for Legends of Tomorrow, but they're like, oh no, we're gonna stop him. Like we're gonna try our best to stop him. Like no, you are not. Like okay, like just leave it for Legends of Tomorrow. And they're like, oh, we're gonna stop him. He's an immortal. He is a goddamn immortal. Like you guys ain't gonna stop shit. Like if anything, all your other friends who aren't you are gonna stop him. So Vandal Savage, I guess it was pretty cool. And I like the actor that plays him because I like the fact that he's not some stereotypical white dude. Because Smallville had a similar character who was played by Dean Cain. He was an immortal as well. He was kind of basically Vandal Savage, but they didn't specifically use Vandal Savage. I'm making a lot of Smallville comparisons, but hey, this was like the biggest team up episode we've seen in any of these shows ever. I mean, seriously, between Hawkman, Hawkgirl, Flash, Arrow, Speedy, Diggle, Felicity, Cisco, Caitlin, Patty, Harrison, Joe, Iris, who else am I missing? Merlin, that's like 14 characters off the top of my head. This is such a jam-packed episode. It was insane. It was freaking insane how many people were in the show alone. And this was an amazing setup episode. Wasn't the best episode in its own, but again, seeing all these characters on screen, seeing Hawkman finally, and how I did like, at first I was a little worried because I'd never seen the actor in anything before. Kendra, I like how they used her so far. I like the actress so far, Kiara Renee, or Sierra, I don't know how to pronounce her name. I'm sorry if she's watching this, but she's probably not. But the guy who plays Carter or Hawkman or whatever, I like his portrayal. I mean, so far, and it's only been one like a few scenes in the episode, but I did like that. I mean, I really did. And I did like, going back a little earlier, Flash's comment about Merlin popping out of nowhere. He's like, is that the only way that this guy knows how to enter a room? Like, I gotta admit, that cracked me up. Just seeing how everyone in the team dynamic worked with each other. It was kind of weird that Caitlyn sat this one out, but understandably so. I loved seeing everyone just working together. Again, why I love these crossovers so much. And again, Barry standing up to Merlin, just seeing all little things here and there that weren't like geek out moments, but like to me, like I was watching it and I'm like, this looks pretty badass. And especially the fight scenes, especially towards the end between Barry and Oliver and Vandal Savage. And oh my god, I cannot believe I didn't write this down. Oliver's kid. They finally show us Oliver's kid. Like, okay, they teased it in second season of Arrow. They even showed it in the beginning of this episode. They teased it last year's crossover when Oliver ran into the chick, and now Oliver runs into his son who has a Flash action figure, and you realize that's the chick, and he's just like, it's funny because my brother was like, my brother was watching the show with me, and he was just like as if he was Oliver. He's like, Barry, that's my kid. I mean, it's not as funny when I say it, but it was funnier when he said it. But back to the point. That was just, it's funny because, I mean, of course, of all the times that Oliver is in Central City, it's the one time he sees his son. I'm just really geeking out about this episode. Again, not the best episode overall, but just so much setup, so much geek out moments, so much things I'm looking forward to between Legends and all that different stuff. But again, no show's perfect. A couple things that bothered me was really the main thing that bothered me was how easy it was for everyone to reveal their identities in this episode. When Cisco unintentionally name dropped Barry when he saved Kendra and himself, or when Barry saved Cisco and Kendra. I didn't like that. That was really, to me, that was like out of character for Cisco. He should be smarter than that, considering he's best friends with the Flash. And the whole team revealing their identities to Kendra wasn't necessary. I mean, yes, they wanted to trust her, but she at that point she was like kind of like overwhelmed anyway. So I don't think she really needed to know all their identities yet. But yeah, overall, that was really the only nitpicky thing, other than the fact that like this, like, some complaints might be that the show might have been a little too crowded, that there wasn't like a whole like single narrative. I mean, there kind of was, but I can understand the criticism of it. It felt too crowded. But again, really amazing episode overall between everything that was in it. Seeing all the characters that I love again, including Jake Garrick, and seeing, you know, the real introduction to Hawkgirl and Hawkman, Vandal Savage, all the stuff setting up for Legends of Tomorrow. And I cannot wait to see tomorrow night's episode of Arrow. So, it was funny, like, going back a little earlier when I was watching the episode, like, when they're talking about, Oliver deals with mysticism. When they first show up, I'm like, you know what, Oliver, this would be a good time to call John Constantine. I mean, I know they wouldn't because of legal and contract reasons or whatever, But it's like, come on, guys. Okay, of all the people besides Merlin, John Constantine's your best bet to help us stop this guy. I mean, just saying. But yeah, overall, again, I really enjoyed this episode. Cannot wait for tomorrow night's episode. So I guess that's gonna be it for me, guys. So yeah, if you guys like what you see here, go ahead and hit subscribe below. I do review Supergirl, Flash, and Arrow every week, Monday through Wednesday. I review comic book movies. I do trailer reviews, and actually tomorrow night as well. After my Arrow review, I'm going to be doing my Batman v Superman live trailer review. So if you guys want to check that out, it'll be up there sometime tomorrow night. My Captain America Civil War trailer. You guys can just check out the videos on my channel if you are interested. So yeah, again, that's going to be it for me, guys. So until tomorrow, have a good one, guys.